Hello, this is Politics Psychic answering your political questions. Okay, let's look at the shutdown. Will it be ending? And let's look at health insurance. Will the health insurance vote go through? And I have a lot of questions people posted on my community page under post. I usually put a little place up there where you can ask a question. And yeah, lots of good things coming up here. Ghislaine receiving special treatment from this administration. Jamie Raskin was reporting that she was, but I'm going to tell you, they're okay. Is she going to get a commutation or a pardon from Kankles, the most hated president? Now, Democrats didn't resist. Well, a lot of them did, so to be fair, but 6 in the Senate. Sorry, my dog wants his ball. You want your ball? Here. That's Apollo, my trusted helper. Okay. 120-pound plus shepherd mix. And he's a good boy. Good boy. Okay. All right. So, yeah, let's look at. God, my flight was canceled. I was going to an event, and it's just crazy. I talked to a friend of mine. She went to New York for a class, and instead of the plane landing in New York, it landed in upstate New York in Albany because they couldn't land in New York. First, she had to wait an extra 6 hours before it took off. Then they took her to upstate. So she had to get a hotel room and then ride the bus down to her class. And by the time she got there, half the days of the classes were over. I mean, it's just, and is she going to get back? I suggested maybe she take an Amtrak across country. I know that's a long way, but quite a mess out there. Is this going to be cleaned up by the holidays? The shutdown? So let's look at that. The government, the Democrats did cave. 6 caved. And I did predict that. I did predict that the Democrats would cave to get it open. A lot of people are angry about that. Well, let's talk about that. Let's answer some of your questions. First, will Ghislaine, so she's getting special treatment. Ghislaine Maxwell, the pedophile and child trafficker, Donald Trump's friend, Kankel's friend. Okay, so he had her, after an interview, transferred to a cushy daycare prison instead of the hard time she was doing. Now, remember that she participated in rape of young girls. She trafficked them she would find them. She would go hang out in front of schools and lure young girls, teenagers in, trick them, play, a lot of the young girls said that she was worse than Epstein and she played a lot of mind games. She's the one that she got them to trust them because she was a woman and be your friend and all that. A lonely, big-hearted young girl looking for attention or friendship. There she was. So a horrible person, a really dark person. They say that she is even allowed in this new day camp in Texas, whatever, Bryant camp, near a university, that she can go out, that she can order special meals, that she has a service puppy. I'm concerned about that dog because people who are cruel like this usually abuse animals. And any animal that you have is going to absorb your unconscious, out of balance energies. So, God help that dog. I feel sorry for that dog. I mean, sometimes dogs are furry human, not humans. They're furry ancient beings that come into these furry bodies to love us unconditionally. Maybe that dog has a real higher purpose of transmuting and healing somebody like this. Oh, God. Okay. So let's ask, so I look at the cards, but I also see things psychically and hear. Let's ask, is she getting the special? Yes, I just heard yes. She's getting the special treatment because of the administration. Ordered that she be taken care of. So whatever she wants, she gets special meals, special exercise time. I do see that she has gone off campus, but because people don't like her, I don't feel like she does that a lot. I feel like she can go off. I see her like they're not really saying officially, yes, you can go out, but they don't really check either with her. They just kind of let her do. But I feel like she doesn't go out a lot because people would recognize her, and a lot of people don't like her, so she doesn't feel safe. She's not really safe. A lot of the other inmates don't like her. Ooh, she's received threats from them. I feel like she has some kind of protection. She's in some kind of protected, isolated area because I feel like there has been threats on her from other inmates because inmates, a lot of times they committed a crime of passion or a burger. These are white collar crimes inmates in this prison. There aren't any other sex offenders, but even in regular prison, even prisoners don't like people who abuse children. A lot of prisoners were abused as children. That's how they ended up there. Instead of getting, the therapy or support and help they needed, they end up in prison. So I have a crazy hair day. Okay. So yes, she is. And I feel like she's very angry, and she's also really feels entitled to have sex with other people or something. She feels like she should have, have some people or something. Like she feels like really creepy stuff. She's very much she still feels like she's in the prime of her life. She may not be. She may be, I don't know what, 50, 60, but she feels like she should be free. She's angry that all this happened. I feel like Epstein's ghost is around her. Ooh, that's creepy. Um, so it is this administration who said whatever she wants, let her have it. Because they're afraid she's going to talk. And let's see, are they going to commute her sentence or give her is Kankel's going to commute? He's been just pardoning, just blanket. He did blanket pardons for all the people from the lawyers. And you can't. They're just ceremonials because these people committed state crimes. Sidney Powell, the Kraken, a lot of lawyers who tried to put false cases through that he won the 2020 election. Mark Meadows, all those people, they're still in prison, or they've served time, or they're in prison. I'm not sure, but they still have case. And a lot of them, some of them pled guilty, but he ceremoniously pardoned them last night in the middle of the night. So why wouldn't he? My mind is, this isn't about what I think, what Sybil thinks. I want to answer what the guides are telling me. So a lot of times people don't like my answers, but I have to tell you what the guides are telling me, not what you want to hear. Okay? So, and by the way, we're going to get through this, and we're going to have a better country and a better world. And if you watch some of my spiritual videos, I feel like some people don't like, because I tend to be like too, I sound like, Mother Mary or Mother, I tend to be too, like, not, I am an average, every mistake a person could, not every, a lot of mistakes a person could make, I've made in my life. I've had to do a lot of work on myself, and I've done a lot of work on myself here. I've never abused children, but I was neglected as a child, and I didn't know how to be a mother. I just, there's a lot of mistakes I made, and I've had to go back and clean up my stuff. So I'm not a perfect person, but what I'm talking about in my spiritual videos is awakening our consciousness, not to get through this, but to evolve and grow so that we have a better world and a better country. And my readings also never tell you what to do. No good psychic will tell you what to do. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to look at the energy, okay? And hopefully deliver the truth and clarity. And I'm going to send you some samadhi and healing, which is what I always do when I speak. People say they feel better after my watching my show. And that's because I'm a channel for healing and well-being. So I ask the guides to come in and be with you. But I have to tell you the truth too, but that's what it's all. We have to be honest. We have to be ethical and love ourselves and others unconditionally. Doesn't mean we accept abuse. Doesn't mean we allow people to skirt the law. But I'm going to do a video on that Thursday on forgiveness. And I know as a healer, I've worked for many years with people. The fastest way to get rid of students and clients is tell them they have to do forgiveness work, because they don't understand it doesn't mean what the person did was okay. It means that you're no longer carrying the pain and the angst of what happened to you. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to heal. They want to feel better, but they don't want to let go of their angst or their pain or their anger, either because they're not ready, which is okay, because I don't force anybody to do anything. But anyway, that's a whole different video. Let's go back to the question. I can go off on all these threads. Don't get me started talking. Okay. And we need to have a sense of humor with this and step back and look at the bigger picture, that all this is happening because we are awakening in consciousness and we're seeing all the garbage. Truth is coming out and we will have a better world. I know you want it now, but there is divine timing, and I don't always know what that is. Okay. So I look at the energy, but okay. So will Ghislaine receive a commutation? I'm going to ask the cards because I'm going to look at it psychically too. Receive a commutation or a pardon? And I'll answer some of your political questions. Sorry, I get off the track on these tangents, but that's not hard for me to do. Okay, so let me look. Will she receive a pardon? Yeah, she will. I'm seeing psychically. Yeah. If it can get done before he's has another stroke or something. And people, and I'll look at this. People have asked me, when's he gonna leave? I don't see him. I feel like he'll be a hanger-oner, even if he's out of office. I feel like he never wants to cross over because he doesn't want to face his maker after all the stuff he's done. Pardon me while I have some tea. Okay, Ghislaine. Yeah, I feel like she's going to receive a pardon. When? Let's do a count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My dog is taking a nap. He's bored. Oh, why do you do this when they pull 2 cards out? Okay, I'm going to go with the 2. Okay. So these are the lawmakers, the Democratic lawmakers. What's crossing her is jail time, being stuck in prison, or possible death. Not death, but just being stuck, like super stuck forever. And she was involved with the devil. And here is truth coming. Yeah, she's going to receive a pardon. Of course. Gave $40,000 to, what was that? Argentina. And taking away our health care. Throwing parties where people don't have Well, veterans and babies and mothers don't have food for their children. And yeah, he's throwing a party with half naked women in martini glasses. No, that's who he is. Sorry, I take vitamins and I have to be at a certain time. Okay. Excusez-moi. Please forgive me for that. Okay. I don't usually do that on a camera. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but okay. I've never seen anybody else do that. So sorry. I could have waited. Okay. Please forgive me. You can practice forgiveness. Okay. All right. Let's look at your questions here. Because then because I want to look at health insurance. I want to look at the shutdown. What needs to happen for the media? You're all good questions. Thank you. Come back. What needs to happen for the media, for corporate media to have a more neutral approach to the news? Well, I'll say that when they look at voters, when other people are speaking up and the voters are speaking up, that'll kind of shift them depending on which media it is. I noticed CNN went from totally supporting Kankles to really not very much at all. I told people in readings, I said, corporations are voting for him because they're going to get their tax breaks. But what they don't understand is that they won't own their company. So good luck with your tax break when you don't have a company. Your company is like, it's like a they like payola. You got to keep paying them. They'll always come back for more. It's like the bully with the lunch money. You think if you give it to him, he's going to go away? Yeah, for 2 hours, he'll be back the next day. So yeah, I mean, duh. So the mainstream media is bought and paid for by big money. And even when they appear to keep showing you we're Democratic, we're supporting, we're anti-Kankles or whatever, then they have some people like Lawrence O'Donnell is really good. I still like Rachel Maddow, even though I saw when Bernie Sanders was running for president, Rachel Maddow was gagged. She was not allowed to speak good about Bernie Sanders. They said, oh, he's a socialist. Oh, you should be afraid of him. Is not going to ruin the economy. Even my sister's like, I'm voting for Hillary, not Bernie, because, I mean, that's okay if you want to vote for Hillary, but why do you have to talk bad and scare people about somebody when it's not true? They did that with Mondani, and they did that with Bernie. Now everybody's finally waking up to like, yeah, maybe he was telling the truth. Even Kankles followed his Kankles, I mean the current person sitting in the White House, copied a lot of Bernie Sanders' talking points so he could get elected in 2016. Because Bernie Sanders is loved. He is loved. He's for people. And he's always the same. He never tricks you. He doesn't, so much for all that. When is the mainstream media gonna stop, like they talk about establishment Democrats. Okay, we need a big tent. Okay, I'm not saying that. But then they occasionally will throw a progressive under the bus or put in these little digs because they try to subtly change the way you think about things, like, oh, be afraid of socialists. Do you know what a democratic socialist is? Well, we have socialist things here. We have libraries, school, K through 12, free school, parks that are open. Some parks charge a fee, but we used to have more parks open. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps. These are all social programs. We pay, and why do you call them social? We pay our tax dollars and elect people to do what we want them to do, not what lobbyists or big corporations want them to do. So as long as that process is still the lobbyists and the big corporations are there, and we the people don't take back our power and wake up, the corporate media will keep trying to like get you to think certain, some people, some, not all. Like you notice Mehdi Hassan gone. He was speaking up too much. Joy Reid gone. Whoever doesn't agree with their, I'm surprised Lawrence O'Donnell, but he's been a long time. And now people, they're looking at the No Kings and the latest vote and all the booing at the sports events. They know that Kankles is hated. And so they're like, oh, okay. I mean, they don't really like, MSNBC doesn't really, I think, I don't want to look at the board of each corporate media, but whether they're for him or not, or what they're all doing, or each broadcaster, because that'll just take hours and forever. This is a great question, but when we stand up, Facebook them, message them. This is not true. Why are you saying that? Or stop watching them, because they are bought and paid for by billionaires, and we have the worst health care in the whole world and the most expensive. And they're still up there going, when are we going to get the right health care? Well, yeah, we need the subsidies. We're going to look at that. What about why aren't they, see, if they started promoting universal health care, they start promoting these things, then people would go, oh, people who aren't paying attention, who just see flashing headlines or just repeat things that they've heard. I mean, now my neighbor who never says anything about politics, who's Republican, we're friends, but I don't bring up politics with her. I saw her the other day, and she read me the whole riot act of everything that Kankles is doing and how he's ruined America. In about 5 minutes, she knew everything. This is somebody who does not pay attention. People are waking up and paying attention. And that's when corporate media, when we speak up and we turn the channel off, I mean, I put them on because they're just to see what they're saying, because I'm doing readings. But other than that, I can't stand listening to all that and their advertisements. I know I have advertisements on here. I have to pay for it. I've tried to tune them down. But apparently, if you don't say yes to advertisements, they're going to put them on there anyway. But it seems like, and maybe you tell me in the comments, does my channel have more advertisements than other people? Because I guess if you said no, they would put them in there anyway, but then they would only put them in there occasionally or a little bit. So I'm sorry about that, but it pays for what I'm doing. It supports me in my time. So sorry about all the advertisements. You can just skip, if you don't want to watch that. And you can buy YouTube that doesn't have ads. Sorry, if you want, that's available too. Okay. Or you can join my memberships where I don't think I have ads on the memberships. No, I don't, because I'm live with people. Or join me on Saturday mornings. This Saturday on the 15th, I'm going to be live with people. And so if you come on live, you won't see advertisements. Okay. All right. Let's answer your other questions. Sorry for going on and on. Okay. Will the courts force the administration SNAP benefits fully? I mean, can you imagine a president saying no to feeding their hungry people? He's like the worst. Well, so this is going to get cleared up because I think we're getting ready for the shutdown to end. I'm going to say, looks like November. It looks like sooner than later. I want to pull cards on it because I want to make double check. But some people are really angry. I did say the Democrats would cave, and 6 of them did in the Senate. And but let's see. There's a vote to go back on in January if we get the health care. Or yeah, okay. Oh, here's a good question. The separation of worlds. There was a spiritual author, Dolores Cannon, who predicted that this world would split in 2. And I don't think that means physically. I'm not a conspiracy theorist person, but I don't feel like that means that that world is actually going to break into 2. I think we already are in 2 worlds. The MAGA world and the not the two different, like, if you notice some people's way of thinking and being in the world, that, people who are violent or abusive or warmongering, and then people who are like a different species of people who are naturally more empathic and compassionate. And so it's almost like the consciousness is splitting, and that's what we're dealing with here. And a lot of the people on the dark kind of side, the unawake side, are easily fooled. Will some of them wake up and come over here? Yes. But as far as the earth separating into two physical places, and we have a giant earthquake and it forms two separate balls, I don't see that. But if you want to talk about, I think what she's talking about is dimensions or states of consciousness. Because the deceased, I'm a medium, I talk to deceased people. The deceased people are right about 3 feet above us. There are different layers of consciousness, and where angelic beings or higher, gurus or ascended masters are up here. So there's different levels and dimensional spaces where beings are. And so, I mean, you might have noticed, if you do a lot of spiritual work and you really evolve, the people that you used to hang out with, some of them may seem like, gosh, we don't have anything in common. They're just still really abusive or being abused or don't have boundaries or being victims or, or manipulating or controlling. And you check out, they're like, wow, I don't want to be in that space. So you may, if it's a family member, kind of distance yourself, or a friend, or you may choose to end the relationship because you literally are living in two different worlds. So I don't think it's a physical space, okay? But if you watch the Hopi prophecy, I talked about that last week, you'll see how consciousness and awakening is helping this shift and truth coming out as we evolve as human beings, and how we are literally living in, there's two different sets of facts, or alternative facts, as some magas would have said, or the whole, conspiracy theory, crazy mint stuff. Okay. Does it look like 45 will be in office, or either the 25th Amendment or passing by the winter solstice? The energy is that when enough of us are woken up, he will leave office. We don't want him in there. He's voted out, or he's 25th Amendment, or he's impeached, or he leaves by illness. So every time I look at it, I get a different answer, but I always see him leaving. So, and different psychics and meters will tell you different things. And we could look at, how does it look now? How does he look between now and, let's say the end of December? How is Kankles doing? You saw him getting booed at the football game yesterday. He looked very unhappy. Saw him falling asleep in the office during a press conference. And then some guy passes out or has a stroke or whatever, heart attack. I don't know what that happened. Maybe low blood sugar, whatever. And he's just standing there going, like, what is wrong with him? It's just like, wake up from your nap, Kankles. He's supposed to be running the free world, and he can't even stay awake during the daytime. And and Sleepy Joe, everyone's sleepy. We never saw Biden sleeping on national TV. Okay, so let's look at him between now and the end of December. Every time I look at this, it's like he's created this chaos, this big rolling ball of crap that ruins people's lives, that is full of fear and lies and garbage, and it's just rolling and getting bigger and bigger. That's what I see. So sometimes it's hard to see the answer, because I just see, and he's creating that. He likes that, because he feels like he's in control. Some people say, oh, he feels like he's relevant. I think it's control. That's the word you're looking for. So show me cankles between now and the end of December. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Oh, the good is behind him. He's hanging on. I feel like he's doing that now. I feel like he's kind of just trying to hang on. Something could happen. We could hear news of something happening. Things are going to happen very quickly. Like most people who aren't paying attention will be like, what? What? You know, I know I have another question in here. When is he going to die? I don't ever want to predict someone's death. That's a very sacred thing, even if they're very dark. And I never want to wish that because it's a karmic thing, because everybody goes when it is their time. But I feel like something could happen I feel like he's barely holding on, and something could happen very quickly. It doesn't really tell us what. I feel like he will have a fall, either where he needs assistance getting up, or he's already fallen in the polls. Okay. It isn't really clear exactly what will happen, but something could happen very quickly. As far as the 25th Amendment, let's just pull a card. 25th Amendment, impeachment, or illness and stepping down. Show me 25th Amendment. Will he be removed? I don't see him serving his full term, and a lot of psychics don't. Could be the 25th Amendment. People with money decide, yeah, he's ruined the economy. Could be impeachment. That looks really, I've read on impeachment before with him. And will he leave through illness or death? They're going to hide that. I feel like 25th Amendment is the least, but possible, either impeachment or illness. Okay. The illness that they're hiding, he's actually quite ill. Okay. All right, let's look at their questions. And will the military resist legal messages to invade other countries like Argentina and Nigeria? Thank you for your peaceful spirit. Sorry, I sound like cankles. I can't talk here. Okay. Just fixing my cards here. Will the military resist orders to invade other countries? I don't think to invade, but maybe to not kill in the moment. Will the military, will generals or admirals resist orders to invade other countries? If Kankles orders an invasion of a country, he's talking about invading Greenland or taking Greenland again too. Will the military resist orders to invade other countries? Oh, I want to say prayers for the Philippines. They're having a lot of earthquakes and tsunamis. Also in Jamaica, still dealing with the cleanup there. Show me, will the military resist orders to invade other countries? Yeah, that's a yes. That was a jumper. Yeah, I feel like they will. Yes. Yeah, because he could get even more crazier as he. I feel like generals or admirals will go. We don't have. They could say we don't understand what you're talking about, and we don't know what you mean. That's what they do in court. This regime does in court all the time. They get a court order, do this, and then they come back and go, "What does that mean?" Well, you could read the order. We gave you the answer. Well, we need to ask again a different way. Or I mean, they just play stupid. That's one of their things they do. One of their tricks they pull. Okay. I read on a big storm. I feel like storms could hit Miami in November. Already really cold, I think. No, that's in Ocala. So I'm reading. I saw storms in November in Miami. Let's look at that again. These are my weather cards. Do I see storm? What's the weather look like in November, Miami? Huh. Looking warmer. What's the weather look like in November, Miami? Okay, now it's looking better. So who knew? Okay. What's the weather look like in December for Miami? What's the weather? Maybe there are storms hitting the Gulf side. Maybe that's why I was getting that, because we're asking specifically for Miami. It looks like Miami's going to be okay. Let's look at the Gulf side of Florida, the western side of Florida in November. Yeah, there's the water. That looks a little waterier. Is that a word? Waterier. Okay, I made up a word. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's look at your questions here. Prayers for you all that you're safe wherever you are. Tennessee, what do I see in the present group of politicians in Tennessee, especially our governor? Will the tide turn more positive in politics? So we have that special election, and I saw the Republican winning. That'll be December 2nd. But let's look, will Tennessee go more blue? I feel like the young people need to get involved more. The left, young people. You know, it's kind of hard to get involved politically. That's why they starve you and they take away your benefits and they make your life really stressful and they lower your wages and the cost of everything is going up. So all people do is work. They can't really be effective in their lives because they're exhausted from working and trying to keep up with things. So let's just do a reading. Will Tennessee turn more blue or more purple? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're looking at it. It's about money. This is because of money. That'd be a yes. Yeah, you're going to go more blue. Let's look at the Republican, because that's a big election. It's a special election, so people might not be paying attention. If you're in Tennessee, please vote Democrat in the special election. I think it's December 2nd. Let's see. I think her name is Afia Bien. I'm saying her name wrong, but the Democrat. How will she do this? 2 cards, one for the Democrat and one for the Republican. How will she do in the election? Democrat. She looks good, the Republican. Well, I still feel like he's going to win. Somebody's going to throw a lot of money behind him to keep the House, Republican, or to keep it, to keep that House seat. So I hope that changes. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Not now. When are they going to open the government? Yeah, we'll look at that in a minute. Did Schumer sell out, or is there something we're not seeing? Well, I think that sometimes it's better to make a compromise, and this might anger people because the energy will change later on. I think the big thing is that we get the government open and then we get health insurance. And they weren't going to open it, and they weren't going to give health insurance. So sometimes you have to play the system, but I don't agree with, I understand, why a lot of people were saying don't cave, and 6 Democrats in the Senate caved. Did Schumer, I feel like Schumer is not very popular because he doesn't really have a spine. He doesn't really stand up. He's kind of establishment, or he's like old school where you have to be bipartisan. They're not playing by the rules. Why are you? Okay, it's estimated that Trump is involved in over 4,000 lawsuits. Will something happen so this, if you elect somebody who's not a criminal, you won't have all these lawsuits. And the energy will change like in 2030 or 2032. So this won't keep, because this can't keep happening like this. So allegedly, the Court of Appeals granted Trump another chance to get an appeal for the 34 misdemeanor. They were felony counts, not misdemeanors, first of all. Will he get acquitted in New York? I don't think so. No. Okay. Somebody wants to know when he's going to be dead. We read on that. Oh, somebody asking me about generational curses. So, looking at the time. If you believe in a curse, it could be real. And before, they didn't have lawsuits. So what people would do is curse you and all your family and because you couldn't sue somebody if they did you wrong or you didn't like what they were doing. They would put a curse on you. So is voodoo and black magic real? It can be. But if you believe in it and you're afraid of it, then it really is. So part of it is not believing it, that it has any power over you. And I believe if you're doing the right thing and you have good karma, you're going to come out anyway, out of whatever situation it is. I had a curse in my family. All the women with my middle name were alcoholics. And I got sober in my teenage years. I'm like, not doing it. So was that a curse? Their generation, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So whatever was going on with your family, physically, emotionally, and mentally, is going to affect you unless you do the work to heal yourself from that. So all the time I see, when I look at people's energy fields, I go, oh, there's your abusive father, your abusive relative, whatever. And they're still being affected by it. And they don't know why they don't feel good, because they have somebody's negative energy in their space. I had this one guy who believed that his relative was cursed and starved to death, 3 generations ago. And that's why he couldn't get a job. Maybe it's because you couldn't stop drinking. Maybe that's why you couldn't get a job, and you were super negative and were abused as a child and didn't deal with your stuff. And it could also be affected by your karma, your astrology, your feng shui. I mean, there's a million things that can affect how a person's doing. Not a million, but in feng shui, there are 10 things that affect what a person does. Your karma, your life path, your agreements, your education, your helpful acts towards others. Are you ethical? Are you honest? Your feng shui, your astrology, God's will or your will, whether you come into alignment, if you're, so there were two others. That's another video. What were the other ones? So maybe there were not 10 things, but okay. I don't want to get into that right now. But there are many things that affect whether a person is cursed or not. And there are many things that you can do about that. And if you do think you have a curse, then it is then your job to be super positive and do what you can energetically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically to get out of that space. Because you don't have to carry the generational garbage that your ancestors had to carry. You don't. And part of that is being awake and conscious to it and doing the work. I hope that answers your question. Let's look at the shutdown. I think it's going to end in November. And there's supposed to be a vote for health insurance January 30th. And I think if people say, start writing your representatives and start voting for people who are going to bring universal health care. I feel like we can have universal health care by as soon as 2030 or 2032. I feel like that's the time when that can come in, because we have a broken healthcare system. If you have a heart problem, most people have to wait 2.5 months to get into the doctor. You could be in the emergency room. So it's set up for you to fail, to go to the emergency room and have high bills and pay big, I know a lot of people who take antidepressants who are still depressed. They're just on expensive medication now. So, I mean, it's the way we do, and it isn't all natural and all this way or that way. There's medicine and technology, and I have great respect for doctors and nurses that save lives. But our insurance system is terrible. Our health coverage is terrible. So, but let's come back to where we are now. Will the shutdown end? Will the shutdown end in November? That's what I'm looking at. Kind of now, or right, like soon now, within a week, looks like it. Because when I looked at people's flights in this weekend, coming weekend, it looked a lot better than right now. It's a mess. So will the shutdown end in November? Let me shuffle the cards really good. Will the shutdown end in November? Yeah, because the holiday travel. People were paid off because of the airlines. Like, come on. They give some money to it, like the lobbyists, like, you got to fix this, because they're getting ready to lose millions of dollars in the holiday shutdown. That's not happening. So they had to do something to open it up. So let me shuffle to 8. 1, 2. Will the shutdown end in November? Thanks for watching till the end. We're not there yet. They're working on it. Looks good. Yeah, there's big money coming in saying, you need to end this. You need to do something now. Yep. I will say this is a yes. I'm surprised because I think Kankles would prefer it to stay closed forever. He's destroyed all the rest of the government. Why open it? But I don't think he's going to be able. So what I was looking at is Stephen Miller wants it to stay shut because he just hates people and he enjoys suffering. He's like a sociopath. Russ Voss wants it open, not because he's a good person to help America, because he's looking at the poll numbers and he's like, we're going to lose. We are losing. We're going to lose the election. We have to do something. So he's trying to be like, can you just pardon Ghislaine, say all the pictures that came out are doctored and fake. We can just say that if the Epstein vote comes out, but you got to get the government open because we're losing. So Russ Vought is actually encouraging him to open. And the Senate and the Congress, they know that they're going to lose their jobs if they don't open the government. So it is going to open, surprisingly. Yeah. And will we get the tax subsidies for Obamacare? Will that be voted on? Show me 3 cards or 1 card. Will that be voted on January 30th? I feel like things could change around. Quite possibly. Will the tax credits be reinstalled so that we have lower health insurance? I'm feeling like they won't, and I'm feeling like in this current situations, people will die because they can't afford their health insurance. That's what I think is going to happen. And that will clinch the 2026 elections because the Republicans, they've been trying to take away your health care forever. Why would they stop now? And they have no plan. I mean, their plan, the Democrats are writing up the bill for, they don't want to write up a plan for health care. Oh, let's look. Are we going to get a stimulus check? Because Kankle said, well, I'll just send everybody a $2,000 check. You know how much health insurance that's going to get you? One person a year, if you're lucky. A family, not even that. I mean, what's that going to do? He just wants a check with his name going out. So people go, yeah, he's helping us. God. Yeah, that's nothing. They just gave $40 billion to Argentina. Okay. Are you ready to go out and play? All right. What are we doing? How will the tax credits go through? Will the tax credits for the Americans for Obamacare be reinstated? They're going to fight. Okay. Will the tax credits be reinstated? Somewhat? I feel like they will. There is going to be something. They're afraid not to now. Or will they be reinstated January 30th? Because once we get in 2026, they will be reinstated. Will the Republicans because one thing the Democrats did do, I'll give them credit, they put attention on this, like they're taking away your health care. Do you understand this? And you have to do a whole shutdown to wake everybody. Do you understand what's going on here? Because people will die from losing health insurance. So will the tax subsidies go through with the January 30th or close by January vote? Probably not. It may not. It probably won't. But by January, we only have another year until they get back in there. Let's do a full reading on that because this is big. Will the tax subsidies be reinstated because of the vote that the Democrats are writing up in or around January 30th? Will the tax subsidies for Obamacare be reinstated to lower people's health care costs? If Cankel's gone, I feel like they're going to try to be nicer. So to save people from dying, they're rushing in. Uh-oh. That does not look good. That would be a no. And then yes, okay? So it's not going to happen at first, but it's going to go to court. They're going to get sued. People are going to stand up, and it's going to be reinstated. Okay? Okay. I think that's it. My dog's done. He says we're done. Come say hi. Come say hello. Please check if you're subscribed. A bunch of people were unsubscribed. A bunch of people were unsubscribed from my channel. Please check if you're subscribed. It really supports me. And give me a thumbs up. And I should be back on Wednesday. And yeah, my flight was canceled, so I have some openings for readings on Thursday and Saturday this week. But if you've booked a reading with me and you've been waiting a long time, let me know right away, because first come, first serve. Because I feel like if you already booked, you should have priority, and I'll move you up. Otherwise, I'm booking the end of December if you want a Christmas or the beginning of the year reading for January. I'm booking there. So you could get a spot there. I can't guarantee it because I don't know who's going to contact me first. Or if you want to be a first lucky one to get in for Thursday or Saturday this week, I am now open. All right. Take care. Sending you so much love. Thanks for watching. And thank you for all your questions. I really appreciate you. Bye for now.